Well, of course, right after I put out my last video going over the Sonic franchise this year, Sega decided to announce a new Sonic game that's coming out this year. I would have mentioned it in my previous video, but I had already started editing that video when Sonic Dream Team was announced for the Apple Arcade, which is supposed to be releasing on December 5th, 2023. Dream Team sorta came out of the blue, at least it did to me, because I really wasn't expecting another Sonic game to come out this year. Now this is just a mobile game, so it isn't a huge release title like Sonic Frontiers or Sonic Superstars was, but it's releasing on the Apple Arcade, which, to my knowledge, usually has higher quality games release on it, so I don't think we should count out Sonic Dream Team from being a good game just yet. There isn't a whole lot to go over here yet, since the game was just announced, but I figured I'd make a short video going over really all that we know about Dream Team, and just my experience with some Sonic mobile games and what I think of the game so far. So let's start with the basic stuff first, the gameplay for Sonic Dream Team, which I think actually looks really good for a mobile game. I've seen a few comparisons made to other Sonic games like Sonic Lost World and Sonic Speed Simulator on Roblox, but another game this reminds me of is actually Fall Guys. Not sure how many people watching have played Fall Guys, but they actually had a Sonic collaboration a while back, and the aesthetic and world design here just remind me of that. But I can also totally see the comparisons to Sonic Lost World and Sonic Speed Sim here. The gameplay, from what we can see of it, which isn't a lot from this initial trailer, looks to be more opened up, similar to how the areas in Sonic Speed Sim are. I don't think these levels are just entirely playgrounds with no end goal, so in that case, that's where I think the Sonic Lost World comparison comes in here. But to me, this game looks like a mashup of all three of those games, which actually sounds like a really awesome idea. From what I'm getting from this trailer, it pretty much looks like Sonic Frontiers if the open zone areas had a bit more thought put into their world and stage design, and also had an actual end goal to get to. Now another part that goes right along with the gameplay are the characters. Sonic Dream Team will have 6 playable characters that we know of, and those characters are your usual Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, with Rouge tagging along too, and the last character is one that we haven't seen for a while, which is Cream the Rabbit. Each of them are paired into a specific movement type, similar to Sonic Heroes, and I'm not sure if this has been officially confirmed yet or not, but if I had to guess, I'd bet that Sonic and Amy will be the speed type characters, Rouge and Knuckles will have more exploration type stages, like they did in SA2, and Tails and Cream will be the flying characters. I'm not sure if each character will have their own levels, or if they'll all be playable on the same ones, just with their own pathways to explore, but if I had to guess, it'd probably be the latter. Aside from the actual gameplay of these characters, their designs here all look really good, and we got some neat new renders to go along with this game. Cream is also a wild inclusion that I was not expecting to appear as anyone other than a side character, but I'm glad that Sega is remembering that they have other characters in the Sonic universe again, and actually making them playable. This also means we have 3 guys and 3 girls here too, one for each supposed movement type, which is great for player choice. It also wouldn't be a Sonic game if there wasn't at least one new character, and the one new character that we know of is Arium. We don't know anything about her just yet, aside from the fact that she's in the game, but all we get from the trailer is this render of her at the very end, so we'll just have to wait and see what they do with her in the game. I also assume that the story here will have some ties to Arium, since she looks vaguely dream-esque. I don't know if that's a word or not, but that's the best way I can describe the way she looks. And the name of the game is Sonic Dream Team, so there will be something to do with dreams here. In fact, we have a very short plot description of the game, which reads, "The evil Dr. Eggman has discovered the Reverie, an ancient device with the power to make dreams come true." So there's your confirmation that this is indeed a dream world. I think this is a great concept for a Sonic game, and I'm kinda surprised it hasn't been done until now. The level design can literally be anything they want it to be, so I'm hoping for some very imaginative stuff for this game. This also makes adding more content to the game make sense in terms of the story, since they can just say that the Reverie created more dream stages, or whatever they are, which could be an easy way to get some updates for this game, which I'm hoping there is if the game is a success, because the concept for it is something that I don't want to be wasted and never be done again. Now, whether or not this game is a success is a different story entirely, and one that I've seen some debate over. Sonic Dream Team is launching exclusively on the Apple Arcade, which is a paid subscription service for Apple devices, and people that don't own an Apple device are pretty rightly upset about not being able to play this game on launch. Now I emphasize on launch here because I've seen various different people saying that the game could potentially come to consoles in the future, but seeing as the studio developing the game, Sega Hardlight, is a mobile game studio, I wouldn't expect it to come to consoles the same day it launches on mobile. And also these sources should be taken with a grain of salt, since they aren't official announcements from Sega Hardlight, so the game is not confirmed to be on consoles yet. And as much as I don't like the exclusivity to the Apple Arcade here, I can also see it being a benefit to the game's overall quality, since it should hopefully feel less pay to win and filled with microtransactions, and be more of an actual Sonic game, just only on Apple devices. Again, the exclusivity sucks, and it probably means that a lot of people won't be able to try the game out, which could hurt the game in the long run, but I think I'd like to stay cautiously optimistic for the time being, especially since a console release maybe isn't entirely out of the picture, but of course, isn't confirmed at all. I do luckily have an iPhone, so I will be playing Sonic Dream Team when it releases, and I'll have a review up after I do so be looking forward to that in the future. And I'd actually like to expand a bit on the mobile game part of Sonic Dream Team, because I think this Sonic mobile game has the potential to be one of, if not the best Sonic mobile game out. Really the only Sonic mobile games that I could compare it to would be Sonic Runners, my beloved Sonic Runners, or the classic Sonic ports done by the Taxman. I don't think this game will be as mobile gamey feeling as ones like Sonic Dash or Sonic Jump, since this game feels less like a time waster when you're bored, and more like an actual game just on your phone, which is what Sonic Runners and the classic ports felt like to me. I may be forgetting some, I'm not super well versed in the world of Sonic mobile games, since I just never really cared all too much, but when there's games like Sonic Dream Team releasing that look like actually good games, they do tend to pique my interest. And aside from just looking good, the Apple Arcade is a paid subscription service, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Apple is at least funding part of the development for Sonic Dream Team, so it being a good game as an exclusive to a paid subscription service is probably a pretty high priority for the development team, and higher ups especially, whoever those may be. I think I'm just rambling at this point, so I might as well move on to some closing thoughts for this game. Sonic Dream Team does look like it will be a good game, and I'm personally excited. Maybe not counting the days until its release, but I will be playing it when it comes out, and I'm hoping that it's actually as good as it looks to be. Granted, we've barely gotten any gameplay footage or knowledge on the game, so a lot could change in the next month, but I'd like to stay positive and hope that it all turns out well. Of course, the backlash of being an Apple Arcade exclusive will be felt, and is already being felt, so I hope that can get sorted out in the future as well. Because if the game is good, then I'd like for as many Sonic fans as possible to be able to play the game. I am hoping for little to no microtransactions, though as a mobile game that feels like an inevitability, so I guess if there are any, then hopefully they're all cosmetic at the very least. And lastly, this game, even if it isn't as great as Sonic Frontiers or Sonic Superstars, is yet another thing to add on to the absolutely huge amount of Sonic content that we've gotten in recent years, at least comparing them to the last decade or so. And the fact that we're getting this game in the first place surprised me, since I figured we were all done for Sonic content this year, hence why I made that last video going over the state of the franchise at all. But of course, we've still got a bunch of Sonic content to look forward to in the future, and Sonic Dream Team is now a part of that. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. This video was an unexpected one to make for me, since I figured I'd be able to go back to making some Final Horizon videos after I uploaded my last video, but then Sega Hardlight announced Dream Team, and here we are. But I do want to hear your thoughts on this game, and I know we have a limited amount of knowledge to go off of right now, but I do want to know, will you be playing this game when it comes out in December? So comment below and let me know, because I'm genuinely curious to see how much interest in Sonic Dream Team there actually is. Other than that, feel free to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.